taking three.
Going for the St. Louis now.
Oh no!
Son of a bitch.
You get your two?
Yeah. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thotgor here, of course. And today we're going to take a look at two ranked battle videos. Before we do, though, you'll notice a little Christmas sleigh there. So obviously Christmas is on its way, so we should talk about my Christmas plans and what you can expect over the holidays here in terms of content. So basically what's happening is I was surprised today to find out that I am leaving tomorrow for Christmas vacation. Yes, I knew I was leaving. I just didn't know it was coming this soon. So leaving tomorrow for Christmas vacation. I'm really going to try to take my computer. I'm pretty sure there's enough room to do so, so I'll take the computer along and try to get videos out while I'm away. Now, I will be away until probably the 27th or 28th of December. But from tomorrow the 18th of December till the 27th of December, we'll say, I can't guarantee I'm going to get a video up every day, and just because I'm doing a bit of traveling here, but I will make every effort to do so. Second thing I want to mention briefly before the battle gets too far in here is the reason why today's video is coming up so late. It's just simply because over the past few days, I don't know what it is, but I've been having some really terrible migraines, just awful, and it's keeping me up all night as well. So what's been happening these last few days is I tend to stay up all night dealing with my migraines and sleeping all day because I was up all night dealing with my migraines. So that's simply why today's video is coming up so late today. But anyway, just wanted a few things to mention there before we jump into the battle. So we can take a look. Ranked battle, obviously, in the Mogami on North, right? You can see that my team is going to be pressuring the A cap point here. We're going to leave B to the enemy, and whatever plans they have for B, we're going to let them do that. We are concerned with A right now, and this is what we want to focus on. So you'll notice, yeah, sort of cruising around here. Gotta be careful of the enemy torpedoes, because there are 4 enemy destroyers on the enemy team there. So you know that there's going to be at least 1 destroyer here, right? We just saw the torpedoes. Most likely there's 2 destroyers, and then they'll probably have the other 2 destroyers over at the other cap. Most likely what's going to happen here. I can't spot any of the destroyers right now. I'm not willing to go into the A cap zone in order to root that guy out for obvious reasons, right? They've got they've got some ships back there. So there's a Mogami we saw, there's some battleships back there as well. So I just don't want to take the chance of getting hit by those guys and just getting taken out so early in the game. So obviously, I'm gonna keep my distance. I'm pulling away right now. This entire time I kept my high explosive loaded. I know I was shooting at a Mogami, and I probably really should have switched over to armor piercing, but I just didn't want to take the chance that the enemy destroyer would just pop up out of nowhere, or pop up really sudden, and I wouldn't have high explosive ready to go to take that guy out. So wasn't willing to take the chance, and that's why I kept my high explosive loaded. But it wasn't too bad. I mean, that Mogami we were shooting at is down to half health right now, and it's not like he can repair that health. So that's a pretty good result there. Not too shabby at all. So we have managed to capture the A cap point. The enemy captured B. That's not really a big surprise. We're looking around, checking to see where other enemy ships are located, and keeping in mind, obviously, destroyers. So moving in a little closer now to the A cap point, and there up comes a destroyer. So okay, all right, maybe I can get a shot off this guy. Just a speculative shot, nothing too big here. Put those off, and then start taking a look at the enemy battleships. Now we did see an enemy Nagato back here earlier. Yes, so I was kind of curious at this guy. Kind of wanted to sink my teeth into him. There he is there. And it's just simply because I noticed that he has the stock hull. So with the stock hull, you know that he has little less hit points. Up pops an enemy destroyer though, so it's a Benson, so I immediately need to start putting shots into that guy. So that was a pretty nice shot there that went into him. So that's not too bad at all. So we're going to line up the stern guns, get those firing off. Blam, right into the Benson. Excellent. I have an ally right up there with me as well, so he's pounding away at him, and we managed to take out the Benson. Well, I managed to take out the Benson, I should say, but anyway, he's gone now. Don't need to worry about him. I managed to get first blood of that as well. Fantastic. Alright, so there's an enemy Fubuki, I believe, so we're going to start putting shots into this guy as well. I like Japanese destroyers. You all know how much I like Japanese destroyers. but I also like them for another reason. I like seeing them in the battle when they're this close, because I know how terrible their guns are and how easy it's going to be for me to kill him. Yeah. So lining up torpedoes on this enemy battleship that's coming around. It's in North Carolina. He's pretty close to me. The enemy destroyer managed to finish off my ally destroyer, so that kind of sucks. But I need to get these torpedoes off at that North Carolina because he could do a whole bunch of damage to me. So I'm in a hard turn here trying to not present a broadside to him, right? I just want to give him the stern of my ship, try and use that island as cover as much as possible just by driving in a straight line away from it, waiting for the North Carolina to come around, and I'm going to start landing shots into that guy if my torpedoes manage to do anything here. There's the Nagato again, so he's there in the back, and here comes North Carolina. So obviously this guy was not paying attention. And we got some great torpedo hits on the way now, yes. And I got a high caliber out of that as well. That was pretty fancy, I thought. It would have been so much better though if he just would have hit one more torpedo. That would have taken him down. Would have got a devastating strike out of it as well. That would have been pretty great. So not doing too bad at all this game. I mean, you'll notice that my team had lost a destroyer, right? And I mean, the enemy team lost a destroyer as well, so that's not too bad. But more importantly, the enemy team is about to lose one of their biggest battleships on their side, the North Carolina here. You can see him right there. He's almost dead now. He's trying to repair, but he's just not having that much luck in doing so. If I can just get a few last shots into him, he'll be gone. We won't have to worry about this guy. I can turn back around and I can go after that enemy destroyer. You can see him there. I still want that Fubuki to go. So putting a few more last shots into the enemy North Carolina here, and you can see as well that my team is putting a little bit of pressure on the B cap zone. They're not necessarily right in there, but they are putting a little bit of pressure on the ships inside that cap zone, so that's good to see as well. Putting some shots into the enemy Fubuki, so not too bad at all. Gotta be careful of his torpedoes though, right? Never cross in front of, if you can avoid it, never cross in front of Japanese destroyers' torpedoes, especially tier 8, 9, and 10, because you never know where they were launched. They have a really big range. You probably aren't going to outrun them, and you're probably just going to end up getting hit. So try never to cross in front of them if at all possible. I know I do it a few times, but I usually pay for it dearly as well. There's the enemy Nagato out there, right? Still have that guy. Still want to try and get him down. With that, with just having the stock hull in his ship, that again, the hit points aren't there, and he might even, his captain might not even be trained, or it could be a lot worse for him than what we know, but we're going to try and take advantage of this guy. See what we can do. You'll notice as well that the enemy destroyer is capping our cap point there. He's capping A, so there he is there, so we need to keep this destroyer in mind. The last thing you want to do is forget about the destroyer, drive in a straight line, and end up getting torped as soon as you come around the headland here. So counting the spreads on those torpedoes, you can see that the enemy Fubuki did launch all three of his torpedoes, all three of his spreads in that launch. So now we know that he's reloading. It's about a minute reload, so I'm fairly safe at this point in thinking that he's not going to be able to torp me, and I can really focus on the Nagato here and try and let this guy on fire and get some more health gone out of him. So that's what we're doing now. And then the enemy Mogami comes back. There he is, so immediately start putting shots into this guy. Still have my high explosive loaded because I'm still dealing with the enemy Nagato, but quickly queue up the armor piercing because frankly there's no need to keep the high explosive loaded if I'm going to be doing some shots into the enemy Mogami here. So the enemy destroyer has left our cap because we chased him out, so we managed to take A back. But we still have to be careful, or at least I still have to be careful, because that Nagato there in the background, I mean, one good salvo from that guy, really, and I am going to go down. It's just going to happen. So, I mean, stock or not, right, I still need to take that guy into consideration. So I'm still keeping myself, or at least trying to keep myself well angled against him, so that if he does take shots off at me, as little as my ship is presented to him as possible. Now here I got kind of nervous. Yes, you can see I'm in a slow turn to port. I really didn't want to ground myself, so I had to cut the throttle here and make this slow turn so I can get around without actually grounding myself. Very concerned the Nagato was going to get me. Luckily, one of my teammates was right in there and took out that Nagato, so I didn't even have to worry about him. And I'm pretty sure that's what saved me there too, because I think if the Nagato would have been reloaded, he definitely would have taken shots off at me. I don't know if I would have survived or not, so yeah. So good move on the team there. Very happy to have their support in taking down the Nagato, so that's not too shabby at all. And now you'll see that my team does have the lead in cap points and in terms of ships sunk. Now ships sunk, we only have a lead by one ship, but we are chasing down this Mogami here. And we know that the rest of the enemy ships are going to be situated around B, except for, yes, this one last destroyer that we have to hunt down. It's still the Fubuki. He's still alive, so we need to hunt that guy down. And then there are other two destroyers, and those other two destroyers most likely are at B, protecting it, right, doing runs to keep us out of there. Enemy Mogami is gone now, right? He hasn't died, but he just popped out of view, so okay, whatever. We know that the enemy destroyer is around. In fact, it looks like he's behind us now, the way that these torpedoes are coming in, so that is interesting. Enemy Mogami pops up again, so I'm going to start putting shots into this guy. While he's within my range, I'll keep firing into him, do what I can. There is the enemy Kiev, so we now know where second enemy destroyer is. Enemy Kiev is out there, so gonna line up for some shots on this guy, right, while keeping in mind that the island's right here in front of me. Be ashamed to ground myself in front of all these people, so just gonna try and put a few rounds into him and then turn and get out of here entirely. See what sort of torpedo shots I might have, so I'd shoot off both torpedoes in case, you know, the enemy Kiev there decides to maneuver around. Maybe one of my torpedoes will get him. At the very least, once again, aerial deniement, right? I'm denying him that area of the sea while those torpedoes are there, so that's not too bad. This whole time still putting shots into the enemy Kiev. Now you'll notice that I do have my close quarters expert flag on this ship, and my Mogami captain has advanced firing training, so my secondary batteries have a little better range than what they normally would have, and I do really like that actually. And I know some of you are saying or thinking, you know, what do you mean secondary batteries on a Mogami, right? It's not that great, and it isn't that great. I'm not going to lie and say that it is, but I just like the idea of having my guns shooting, or having those secondary batteries engaging targets further out, because it's going to make enemy targets think twice before getting too close to you, especially these destroyers. And I mean, all of you know, well, who have been playing ranked battles, I'm sure, know, like, these destroyers in ranked battles are pretty devastating. They more or less determine the match 9 times out of 10. So to be able to make a destroyer think twice about, you know, maybe ambushing you, coming up close to you, anything like that, always a good thing. So that's why I've been running it here on my on the Mogami in these ranked battles. So there are some more torpedoes again from the enemy Fubuki. So we really, or actually no, that is a friendly Fubuki. Yeah, yeah. Oh, that was close, wasn't it? That was real close. But the enemy Fubuki is around. I do spot, or rather I am spotted, so I know that he sees me. So we know that he is around here. And looking at the enemy ships remaining as well, you can see that there are only 2 enemy vessels remaining, right? Both destroyers. There's one of the destroyers popping up on the minimap by B, so we know, okay, he's over there. But now we don't know where this other destroyer is, so we gotta kind of try and find this guy, see where he is and what he is doing. Again, just to make sure that he doesn't try to ambush us, right? And it's still, it's not anyone's game at this point. I mean, we do have a strong lead, and you know, we have to be really retarded not to win this. But the enemy destroyer can still do a great deal of damage before that happens. We can see both of them out there, and it's a Kiev as well, right? Is going to end up being the last destroyer alive. So, and a Kiev is a formidable target. Maybe not against all of us at once like this, but if the Kiev can get itself into a position to maybe do some invisible firing or use I know that Russian destroyers don't have the best concealment, but use some concealment to his advantage, his or her advantage, just to prolong the battle and get more shots out and potentially sink some of our ships. Because if you look at my hit points on my Mogami right now, it's not going to take too many hits from that Kiev there to finish me off. And the same can be said for the other two of my allies, because we are not at full health at this point. We fought a pretty hard battle here. Well, I guess that guy's kind of at full health, but you know. Anyway, so lining up torpedoes on the enemy Kiev if he comes around the little headland here. Now, if he was stupid enough to do this, I would have been very, very surprised. Because frankly, I'm lining up the torpedoes, right? Just checking the shot, seeing where he's going, especially the lead indicator to see which direction he's going. I would have been really surprised if he did actually come out and around that headland, because that would have been such a unsmart move. I won't call it stupid. We'll say unsmart. Yeah. Anyway, he decides to go for it anyway. I mean, at this point too, why not, right? You're the last ship. He's being chased back down by one of my friendly destroyers. So I launch off my torpedoes. He's not actually going to hit any of those. There we go. Ally takes him out. Fantastic, and we won. Now this obviously is a rank 7 battle. I don't have a rank 5 battle to show you guys yet. Still at rank 6, so that kind of sucks, but whatever. Good battle. Not too bad results. What I was most happy with here was the high caliber from getting all those torpedoes into the North Carolina. That was pretty fantastic, I thought. Not too shabby at all. Not really sure what the North Carolina captain was thinking on that. Just taking a look at some of the numbers there as well, you can see pretty decent damage for a ranked battle, well over 200,000 credits, and a nice bit of experience earned here as well. So not too shabby on that front at all. Next clip we have moving into Land of Fire, once again in the Mogami, obviously. So this was an interesting battle as well, I thought. A little bit of touch and go here, but worth a watch anyway. See what we can take from it. So obviously, trying to figure out right at the beginning, where are we off to? Where does the team want to go, so that I know right away where I'm going to be going? Because obviously I'm going in the same direction as everyone else. I'm not going to go on my own, and I'm going to support my allies as I'm going over into that direction as well. Just common things that cruisers do, right? So you can see us typing away here in chat, just figuring out, asking where to. People are discussing it. I generally let the team decide. I don't like telling people what to do, right? When I talked about that before, it's a game, everyone wants to do what they want to do. Even in a ranked battle, I understand there's teamwork involved and whatnot, but if you tell someone where to go and they don't really want to go that way, I know this is real childish, but a lot of people in this game seem to be childish. So if you say, let's all go A, and they're like, they're thinking to themselves, no, I want to go B, and they're complaining in chat, and they go A anyway, but they're not going to fight their utmost at A because they wanted to go B the whole time. As childish as that is, yes, it happens. So rather than have that happen, I just avoid that whole situation, that whole potential path that we may have to go down. Just avoid all that by not even suggesting a direction, just saying where to. The rest of the people, they can decide where they want to go. I'll just follow along. So eventually everyone does settle down and they decide that we are going to be heading over to the B cap zone here. So moving along, you'll notice too, speed is at 3/4. Talked about it before. It's just simply so that I don't arrive first and I don't arrive out of a reasonable distance from my battleships. Because your battleships in ranked battle, obviously, that's your heavy support. You want to have them supporting you when you are in a cruiser, and you want to be supporting them. So I try and stay as close as possible to those guys to provide as much support for them as possible. And in turn, I'm hoping that they will provide me with as much support as possible. Doesn't always work out, right? But everyone has their own priorities, but that's what I try to do anyway. You can see we also have one of our destroyers over there in the A cap zone, capping that cap right now. So that's pretty good because frankly over here at B we're having a bit of a struggle. And surprisingly enough, Over at A, not much of a hassle at all, right? A is almost capped, but it does look like a lot of the enemy ships did decide to go B here, so we have to deal with that. So we're going to put shots into the enemy destroyers as they pop up, start resetting the cap points they have on B, and really try and focus this B point here as well. Now, word of caution to you guys as well, because I know and I've seen it before in this situation where it's like the two teams both meet at the same point, because coincidence you all decided to go A, for example. And then once the teams realize that, one of the teams or some of the members of the team might then decide, well, you know, they all came this way, let's go over here and take the other point. I think that that is a bad idea. I really think that it is just a terrible idea, because it's putting, you know, everyone on your team who went the original direction that was agreed upon now has to turn around, expose broadsides while doing the turn right, and get themselves into a different position in the map. If you have any slower battleships in your battle here as well, so I'm speaking about Colorado's, Nagatos are fairly slow. You know, it's going to take those battleships a lot longer to actually get turned around and get back into position. So really, really a bad idea, I think. And I wouldn't recommend doing it. I would, you know, stick with the original point that was planned upon. Hopefully it'll work out for you. So you can see at this point the battle is not going too well. We lost the destroyer the enemy has lost a destroyer in the capture of B, although they did manage to take the point. You can see I'm getting a little closer to it now though. And the enemies have managed to take the A point. So the bulk of the enemy heavy ships are over there at A, but we know that over here at B, where I'm at, there are a number of enemy destroyers, and we did see cruisers as well, right? So there is a cruiser that we have over here as well. So I'm going to start lining up on this guy. I've got my armor piercing loaded and ready to go as well, hoping that if my ally torpedoes, because those torpedoes were launched by my friendly Miyoko, so hoping that if these torpedoes don't take that guy out, that my shells will come in and will finish him off and do the job. So that's great. That's what I'm thinking. So there goes enemy torpedoes into the enemy cruiser in the background, and the enemy cruiser is dead. Yes, he's gone. Excellent. That was some nice torpedoes, and I comment and I let Buddy know in chat that was a really nice shot actually. So we are now capping the B cap zone. Excellent. This was the place we wanted to go, the direction we needed to be in, and the cap we wanted to take. So we are now doing that. That's fantastic. While this is happening, you know, taking a look around, taking stock of the situation, looking at the enemy ships that are out there and what we might need to do in order to defend ourselves and also take out some of these enemy ships. Enemy torpedoes on their way in, so clearly we know that there is at least one destroyer still in the general area here, so we do need to be careful and be aware of that, because that enemy destroyer can definitely take us out. There is an enemy Pensacola. Armor piercings are already ready and loaded and ready to go, so why not shoot that off the Pensacola in the background there. Hopefully I'll land some nice shots, maybe get a citadel or two. Yeah, didn't happen this time. Oh well, oh well. Just getting one last shot off the enemy Pensacola before my guns, before the mountain got in the way here. There's the enemy destroyer, or at least one of them. So we can see him over there. He is a reasonable distance away. I have my armor piercing in the barrels right now, so that kind of sucks, but I have high explosive queued up. So I empty the barrels of the armor piercing into the Pensacola, and I immediately start loading up high explosives to deal with this enemy destroyer, because we don't want this guy hanging out over there just shooting torpedoes in at us. Got a nice little hit on the Pensacola, so that was pretty lucky as well, because that was a hastily aimed shot, right? And the Pensacola was in a turn. Just as I get myself into a position to start putting shots into the enemy destroyer, he pops out of view. Yes, typical. No big deal though. There he's back. I've got my acoustic sonar on now as well, because I want to be able to see these torpedoes as they come in, and I also want to be able to alert my teammates that they're coming in, so that everyone around me knows torpedoes are there, and hopefully this will mitigate against any of my teammates actually dying from torpedoes. I also have the support of one of my allied destroyers here in front of me, so that is not too bad. You want to be careful here, because you do not want to go too far, right? This is not the time to actually push into the ACAP zone. No. I mean, there are still 3 enemy ships over there that we can see. The 4th one now has popped up, the enemy destroyer. So if you go in there, you're just going to end up being center of attention, and you're going to take a lot of damage. especially from the enemy heavier ships, so I'm not willing to do that, so turn away and just harass the enemies over there. We have 1 cap point, so we're even in cap points. There's no need to necessarily take these big risks just to get that 2nd cap point. You don't need it. You need at least 1. You have to have at least 1, but once you have that 1, you have some options. So, shots going out, you can see the enemy the enemy destroyer did eventually come around the headland and put some torpedoes into my allies. Luckily, those torpedoes all seem to have missed, so that's not too shabby at all. Moving down here, we can see that the enemy cruiser is going to be coming around the headland here, so great. I've got my armor piercing loaded and ready to go. I've queued up my secondary batteries to make sure that they're all focused on the enemy cruiser as well. Just need him to come around the headland here, and we'll immediately get this guy gone. Now Pensacola, what he was thinking, I have no idea, but I am more than happy to dispatch that fellow. Enemy destroyer there's the other one. Because they have 2 remaining. So alright, now we know where both of them are. Well, we have a general idea. So basically what they're doing is they're sitting on the other side of this landmass here in the channels, right, waiting for us to come through, and then the plan being to torp us as soon as we come through. So okay, alright, now that I know their tricks, I feel a little more confident in what they're doing, a little more confident in what I can do to counter this. So you can see I'm in the southern part of the map now, right? And I figure that this actually might be a really good time to push into the B point, to deal with this enemy destroyer, open this channel up, and get in there. So, okay, I'm going to see what I can do. Now I need to do some wild maneuvers here, though. That's the thing, right? Because I don't want to get torpedoed by the destroyer when I come around the headland over here. That's not what I want to have happen. So taking a look where my torpedoes can fire, because maybe I can get a lucky torpedo hit on this guy as well. You never know. But no, he's moving away, right? He's moving up towards the north, so I need to turn in order to get my batteries on the target here. So there he is there, so that's great. So immediately put a full salvo into him, and look at that. Fantastic, isn't it? Yes. So he's dead. Devastating strike from that kill as well. Fantastic. The enemies only have the 1 destroyer remaining in 2 battleships. They've got 2 turrets left, so that's not too bad. The enemy Benson there that I killed did manage to get some torpedoes off before he died, and I do eat 1 right to the bow. Not a big deal though, because I didn't die, and I had my repair ready to go. Enemy destroyer popped up in the background there for a moment, so we do know where that guy is. We know that now he is going to be putting in the last defense here at A, so okay. And we can see the enemy turrets there as well that my teammates are dealing with. Luckily down here where I have pushed through into the A point, it's relatively quiet right now. I don't really have to worry about or worry too bad about the turrets, except this one here, right? You can see that his guns are pointed at me, so we know that he's going to start firing at us over here, so we need to start taking some evasive action. I don't want to get too close to this guy because, again, a nice shot from that turrets, and I might not be dead, but I am going to be very, very close. So I'm going to turn away, get some defensive maneuvers going away from him here. And you can see that my battleships are doing a really nice job on that guy, actually. That was a nice hit by one of those battleships that I have. Turret's shots are incoming. Not too concerned about them, though, as you can see. Did some nice maneuvers. I've got my turrets with me here as well, so I figure I may as well let those guys more or less duel it out, right? I'm not in a position to duel it out with the turrets, not in a Mogami. At this range, though, it's not really a problem, but I just don't want to get any closer than what I am now to him. It'd just be too much of a risk, and I would hate to die, after such a great battle here. So putting in whatever shots I can into the turrets, and just keeping in mind as well that there is another turrets out there. My friendly destroyer is moving into the A cap zone, is going to start capping that for us, which is great. Not that we really need it, but always nice to have, and keeping in mind that we do still have that last enemy destroyer out there, so we can see him popped up over there. It does look like my friendly destroyer is going to be moving into a position to deal with him, and we do have cruisers over there as well who are helping out, so that is not too bad at all. Doing basically a big circle around here, right? The enemy turrets isn't focused on me at all. I'm not the primary target for him. In fact, it's going to be my allied turrets, which is great because, my allied turrets has the armor and the hit points to be able to duke it out with that enemy turrets, whereas I do not. Allies, as you saw there, just took out the enemy destroyer, so fantastic. We don't have to deal with another destroyer, so that is excellent. Putting shots into the enemy turrets now that he's back within my range, and I'm going to move up and I'm going to help support my turrets, who is dueling it out with the enemy turrets here. So many turpitses. Anyway, I'm going to move in here and I'm going to provide support to my allied turpits here. There's no need for my allied turpits to die. I don't want him to die. I just wanted him, to start absorbing shots for me and to become the center of attention of the enemy turpits, so that when I circled around and came back like I'm doing right now, the enemy turpits hopefully would have forgotten about me, or at least considered me, not a threat anymore, because he's got this other turpits in his face. So everything worked out there. We managed to take out that enemy turpits. Fantastic. Good job, team. We only have one more enemy ship remaining. It is in fact the last enemy turpits, but he's so out of position. Look at that guy. Way up there in the north. I don't know what he's doing up there, but essentially he's taken himself out of the game, because there's not a whole lot he is going to be able to do to prevent us from capping here. We already did, right? Or to prevent us from winning. So this is going to be another great victory here in the old ranked battles just while that's ending. Obviously these ranked battle victories are not very consistent for me. Like I said, I'm still at rank 6. I had some high hopes, like high grandeur hopes of getting to rank 1. That's not going to happen, obviously. So now my goal is just simply hopefully maybe I can get to rank 5, at least get into the Premier League before December 22nd, because December 22nd is when the season for Rank Battle ends. Now, as you know, doing some holiday traveling that I'm doing, it's going to be difficult for me to actually find time to play ships and get that done, but I'm going to make every effort to do it. So there we go. There's the battle at rank 6. So this was obviously, the first battle, the first victory into rank 6 that I got. 207,000 credits isn't too shabby at all. 2 kills, some Citadel hits there. Devastating Strike was nice as well. Second on the list overall, the Miyoko, my ally Miyoko there that had that nice torpedo hit on the enemy cruiser early in the game, or the torpedo strike I should say. He finished first. I still finished with well over 100,000 credits and experience earned, right? So not too bad of a battle at all. I was fairly pleased with it. So that's today's video. Thank you guys very much for sticking around, watching it through. Sorry it came up so late, but we'll get it out here today. And just keep in mind some of my holiday travels there. So from December 18th to probably about December 27th. Can't guarantee daily content, but I'll make every effort to do so. So leave any comments you have for me for today's video. Love reading those comments and responding back to them. Hit the old like button if you liked today's video. And as always, folks, I do hope you enjoy the rest of your day.